Mm.
So like it was a huge shift in my life. Like it was probably the biggest shift in my life in that moment,
Mm.
in that like
Wow.
about span of 3 months when I was doing the
And thank you. Yeah, yeah. And thank you so much for bringing things full circle, right? Because we started this whole story with you being dependent on your asthma and it being on the inhaler and it being a source of anxiety for you and moment that moment of being a free thinker, a critical thinker and looking at this inhaler and saying, my ancestors did not need this. Why am I holding this in my hand? And for you to be in a position now where you no longer need your inhaler, how beautiful is that? How beautiful is that? The realization of it. And so, before we get into, the results of your functional medical labs, can you please, for the audience, explain what a functional medical lab, is as it relates to what it tests, what kinds of things you have to like contribute, to do it. Walk us through, what a functional medical lab test or series looks like.
Yeah, so there's all different kinds. I mean, there's probably more than I even know about, but they range from anything
Okay.
from testing mineral levels, vitamin levels, your microbiome, so bacteria, fungus, parasites.
Mm,
They'll test adrenal levels, hormone levels, thyroid levels, omegas, omega 3, omega 6s.
mm,
They'll test things like even more just toxic levels. They'll test things like
mm-hmm,
mold, um,
mm-hmm,
a whole range of things that functional medicine lab tests can test for.
mm.
And
Awesome.
excuse me, they're a little different than your regular blood test
Okay.
in the sense of there are some blood tests, but they're not through IVs or not IVs through like a phlebotomist. They would be more finger
Mm-hmm,
prick pokes. So you just
mm,
prick a little piece of your finger and get it to bleed, and then you put the blood onto a card and it dries. So it's a
mm-hmm,
dry blood spot test. So there's
mm,
those. There's urine tests. There's hair samples. Um, and stool samples. And those are basically the ones that I know about and that I actually run at this point in my life that I can run for other people. Um, and I mean, the way you can get them is you can find a functional medicine doctor or practitioner. You can ask your doctor, your MD that you have now, if they can run anything like that. I'm not
mm-hmm.
too sure. They usually they might be able to, but I don't know if they would know how to read them, if they would know how to interpret them because of their training.
Yeah.
And or you can come to someone like myself. And basically, I mean, they can do them in house for you, the practitioner or the doctor, or you can do
Mm-hmm,
like ones like I use. They get sent right to your door. So you
mm-hmm,
order them and they come right to your door and you follow the directions and essentially send them back through the mail to the lab testing
mm-hmm,
facility. And then they send that data to me and then,
mm-hmm,
or your doctor or your practitioner. And they will
mm-hmm,
interpret the data and from their training, their knowledge and their understanding experience, they can give you
mm-hmm.
recommendations then from what that data entails.